He's remembered as the king of the wild frontier, a larger-than-life folk hero who tamed the wilderness and died a martyr at the Alamo. But here's the shocking truth. Much of what you think you know about Davy Crockett is pure invention. Davy Crockett lived between 1786 and 1836, a time when the United States was expanding rapidly westward. His life became the perfect canvas for tall tales, political battles, and myth-making. Today, we'll separate the man from the legend with 5 surprising truths about America's most famous frontiersman. When you picture Crockett, you probably see him in a coonskin cap, but the truth? Crockett never liked them. In fact, in his own writings he joked about wearing fox skin, not raccoon. The coonskin cap only became his signature after his death, when stage plays and storybooks used it as a symbol of rugged frontier life. By the 1950s, thanks to Disney, millions of American children wore plastic versions of a hat Crockett himself might have laughed at. Born in Tennessee, Crockett grew up in poverty. He worked as a hunter, scout, and soldier. But he wasn't just a rugged outdoorsman, he was ambitious. He taught himself to read and write later in life, and by the 1820s, he was running for political office. His charm and wit made him a local celebrity, and soon, he was elected to Congress. But in Washington, Crockett refused to play along with party politics. He broke ranks with President Andrew Jackson, especially opposing the Indian Removal Act, a stance that cost him dearly. Crockett lost re-election, showing he valued conscience over career. In the 1830s, Crockett became one of the first Americans to be turned into a pop culture icon. Theaters staged comedies with him as the star, writers churned out dime novels exaggerating his exploits, and Crockett himself leaned into the fame, publishing an autobiography. He even wrote lines like, "I can stand alone and yet I'm a Democrat too," half truth, half performance. In an age before TV or radio, Crockett was a living brand. A frontier warrior, a plain-spoken politician, and a national character that audiences couldn't get enough of. In 1836, Crockett joined the Texian fight for independence from Mexico. He arrived at the Alamo, a mission fortress in San Antonio, with about 30 volunteers. For 13 days they withstood Mexican General Santa Anna's siege. On March 6th, the Alamo fell. Legend says Crockett died swinging his rifle to the bitter end. But Mexican records suggest a different ending, that he may have been captured alive and executed. To this day, historians debate which is true. What's certain is that Crockett's death transformed him from man to martyr. After his death, Davy Crockett's story was retold again and again. Each generation reshaped him, a fearless Indian fighter, a patriotic martyr, a backwoods comedian, and eventually, thanks to Disney, a wholesome American superhero. By the mid-20th century, the real Crockett had been buried under layers of myth. His image sold on lunchboxes, toys, and TV screens. Perhaps that's the greatest truth of all. Crockett's legend became less about the man himself, and more about what Americans wanted to believe: rugged independence, courage against impossible odds, and the dream of freedom. Davy Crockett wasn't just a man in a coonskin cap. He was a hunter, soldier, politician, celebrity, and finally, a symbol. His story reminds us that history is never just about facts. It's about the myths we choose to tell. So the next time you hear the ballad of Davy Crockett, remember the man beneath the legend. Flawed, courageous, and human. Which version do you think deserves to live on? The folk hero or the truth teller who defied his own president?